Hello, my name is Matthew Mowdy, and I'm here today to give you a little bit of training on the MAX98090 Evaluation Kit. We're going to start with how the kit comes in its box and how to get it out of its box and get it up and running as quickly as possible. So first, let's talk a little bit about what the MAX98090 is. The MAX98090 is a general-purpose audio codec that features high-performance data converters, flexible signal routing, and extremely low power consumption. As a result, it is a highly efficient device ideal for portable devices. So when you receive your evaluation kit, it's going to come in a box much like this one here. And inside, well, when you get through all the packing material, you should have your 98090 evaluation kit in a nice little electrostatic bag. This kit's ready to use right out of the box. All the firmware is preloaded. You'll notice that there's a number of jumpers on this kit. Yours may or may not look exactly like mine does, but we'll show you how to configure these jumpers. You should also have a couple of cables potentially and some external components that can be optionally mounted on the kit for certain use cases. Before you can get started working with your evaluation kit, you will need to visit the Maxim website to download both the software and the evaluation kit datasheet. Once the evaluation kit software has been installed, you'll want to plug in the USB communication cable and confirm that you can connect to the device. Look in the bottom left corner for the messages that will report the status of the connection. First, you want to look for the USB controller status. If you see the message disconnected, it indicates failed communication with the I2C controller. If it says USB connected, you're successfully communicating. Next to that, look for the MAX98090 status. If it says device not found, then the MAX98090 is not connected. This could be because the jumpers are not in the correct positions, the device isn't fully powered, or it's damaged. A common mistake is to not connect speaker VDD. Once the evaluation software indicates that the MAX98090 is connected, check the revision ID. For the current device, it should be 0x43. Do not work with other versions of the hardware. Now that communication with the device is successful, let's talk a little bit about the evaluation kit topology. The evaluation kit has two major sections. The left side contains the application circuit and the analog connections. The right side contains the I2C interface and the USB and SPDIF audio interface. The MAX98090 primary power comes from the USB cable. The USB powers the rails which are connected to the device through the jumpers. This powers the AVDD, HPVDD, DVDD, and DVD I/O supplies. Speaker VDD is needed for communication but requires an external supply. Connecting speaker VDD to the onboard 3.3 volt supply rails could cause permanent damage and should not normally be done. On the left side of the board are the analog inputs and outputs. The analog inputs are along the top left of the evaluation kit. The jumpers here are usually unconnected for typical cases, but if the digital microphone is going to be used, its jumpers need to be installed. The MAX98090 analog audio outputs are along the bottom left of the evaluation kit. Keep in mind that the onboard speaker Class D output filters are not installed by default. The evaluation kit I2C interface jumpers must be connected. The digital audio interface jumpers, however, are configured based on the use case. We're going to demonstrate a basic audio use case where we're going to run audio through the USB cable from the PC directly to the evaluation kit. To do this, connect the digital audio interface jumpers as shown in the figure. Okay, well, now that we're familiar with the evaluation kit hardware, let's get set up to play some audio. First, you're going to need some kind of speaker VDD power supply, either a battery pack, external supply. Keep in mind, without this, communication is not possible, and you will need this even if you're not going to use the speakers at all. Then we're going to need to communicate with the computer, so connect your USB audio cable to your PC first and then to the evaluation kit. The red light should indicate that you have power. After that, since we're going to play audio through the USB audio DAC, you're going to want to connect a second USB cable from the PC to the evaluation kit. Once both of these are in place, we need to open up the evaluation kit software and configure the device. So hopefully you have a link handy for this. Once you've got the software open, there's a convenient button to quickly configure USB audio. So you're going to want to click on that and let it auto-configure for you. Once this happens, the device should be recognized by your PC as an audio playback device. If you look at that and go to Playback Devices, you will see a USB audio DAC present. If this is not the case, then you need to check your connections and make sure that the EV kit is powered correctly. A common problem when setting up USB audio is that the sample rate that the device is expecting doesn't match the output sample rate of the PC. Go into the Evaluation Kit software and make sure that the sample rate you've selected there matches what the PC is outputting. In this case, I'm using 48 kilohertz. Then if you go over to the PC settings and you go to your playback devices, select the USB audio DAC and hit Properties. Underneath the Advanced tab, it'll show you what the output sample rate is from the PC. In this case, it's 44.1 kilohertz, which would not match what the MAX98090 is expecting. If we change this to 48 kilohertz, the two devices will be using the same sample rate, and we should be able to play back USB audio. Once all the software is set up, go back to the Evaluation Kit and connect your audio output. In this case, we're going to start with headphones, which is what the auto configure on the AV kit sets up. If we plug those in and then start some music, we should then hear it through these speakers. Well, through the headset at least. Unfortunately, this is probably far too quiet for you to hear. So let's make a quick change so that we can all hear this. First, we go back to our Evaluation Kit software and we quickly change from headphone output to instead use speaker outputs. As you can see, this only requires a couple of quick changes on the mixers and the entire audio path is highlighted on the software. This makes it very easy to configure the device using this Evaluation Kit software. Now let's not make the volume too loud. That could be a problem. Take your speakers. Probably should have hooked these up beforehand, but we'll see what happens. Hey, what do you know? And now that we've got it running, let's give it a little more volume. And that's just how easy it is to get audio out of this device. Now, in our previous demonstration, we were running audio through the USB. Now, this is great if you want to test the playback on the device, but what about if you want to test the record path as well? Instead, we're going to need some kind of analog input from, say, your pad, your phone, your PC, and a standard analog audio cable. Anything like this should work. So we're going to plug that in, bring that over, select any inputs you like. They should all work. I'm going to use input 1 for left and input 2 for right. Now, to save a little time, I'm going to load a save state file for this. This file is pretty straightforward. It's just a master mode 48 kilohertz file with both the record and playback paths set up. Now, you notice how easy it was to load that file there. The Evaluation Kit software is great, not just for this, but also for debug purposes, because you can save a file, you can load a file. If you run into a problem in the field, you can save off the exact state the customer is using and then send it over to our team to take a look at. Now, to switch over to this mode, you do need to remove a few jumpers. You'll need to disconnect from the USB or SPDIF clocks, and you'll also need to change the master mode clock over to the onboard crystal. The figure on the screen now should show you how to do that. Next, go over to the Evaluation Kit software, and you'll notice that the save state we've loaded shows input 1 coming into line A, input 2 to line B, straight into your ADC, and then also your playback path through the DACs coming to your speakers. Now, this on its own is very difficult to test because you would need some external device to connect to the digital audio interface. Instead, we can test both the record and playback paths very quickly by simply looping the audio from the record path back into the playback path. Go into the interface and simply click this bit, and then enable the device, and you should have audio. Now, It's a bit loud. Let's turn it down a little. So as you can see, we can play audio both through the USB audio DAC or through an analog input cable. And with what we've shown you here today, you should be able to get this kit up and running very quickly and to be able to demonstrate the capabilities of the device.